Hi everyone, I'm Catherine and I'm known as the Needleberry Stitcher here on YouTube and on Instagram, and I'm here today to show you my Dimensions Gold Collection kits that I've started. So I do collect the Dimensions Gold Collection kits, but I haven't started them all, and I don't have a huge collection. Okay, I just counted. I have 13 kits that I have not started, and I have 18 kits that I have started. So that's a total of math. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and show you my oldest Dimensions Gold Collection kits. And they're not actually all Dimensions Gold. Some of them are just the regular Dimensions kits. But I'm going to show you the ones that I've started. And I'll start with the ones that I know were my oldest ones, and then I know which ones roughly are my more current ones. And I don't have exact start dates, but I know roughly, where I know when I started, I'll tell you. So I'm going to jump right in. Actually, first I'm going to say that I'm completely overwhelmed with how many people are watching my videos. I started putting them out there thinking, well, I'll just put them out there and maybe I can look back at them, a year from now and see where I was at and how much progress I've made in a year. But you guys you're awesome. You keep coming back and watching my videos, so thank you very much if you're returning. And if you're new, I hope you enjoy what I'm about to show you and consider maybe subscribing to my channel. So I hope to put videos out regularly. Okay, now I'll get into my actual WIPs. So the first one, and I'm gonna try and edit the video too so that you're not getting all the zipping and opening and closing of things, because I do want to, unzip, pull things out, put things back so I don't have to do it all later. So I'll try and edit the video as much as I can so that you don't have to be a part of all that zipping and unzipping. So I'll do that now. So this first one was the very first Gold Dimensions kit that I ever bought. And it was right before I met my husband. Well, before I met my future husband. And I was living in an apartment and I was working on it, and I just didn't know how to spend my evenings, so I went to a Michael's store and I picked up this kit and worked on it. And this isn't the first cross stitch I've ever done. I don't really think I've given too much history on when I started cross stitching, and I don't want to get into a whole lot of that history here in this video because it's more of a WIP parade. But I did start cross stitching when I was 6 or 7 years old. My mom taught me how to do it, and my aunt was an avid cross stitcher. So between my mom and my aunt, they really got me started on all things cross stitch. And in one of my future videos, I'll pull out my very first cross stitch that I did. It was a stamped piece with, I think it was a chicken or a rooster. It's probably a rooster. And my mom just bought this piece of cloth that it was stamped and it had all the little X's on it. So at 6 or 7 years old, that was perfect for me to get started because I didn't have to count. And my mom would help me thread the needle. And anyway, it was a summer project that I worked on that one summer, and that was the beginning. So this isn't the first cross stitch I've ever done, was the Gold Dimension kit, but it was the first Gold Dimensions Gold Collection kit that I ever bought. So anyway, I was alone in my apartment in the evenings after I was working, and I just moved to a new place and didn't know a lot of people other than the people that I worked with. And so I went to Michael's, picked up this kit, and it's Alan Maley's A Gracious Era. I just fell in love with this when I went to Michael's. I was looking for something to work on, and I wasn't even sure I was going to do cross stitch. But when I saw this, I thought, that's it. That's what I want to spend my evenings doing when I get home from work. And that's what I started. I'll show you my progress. And I worked on this. I was a monogamous stitcher back then. I would work on just one project at a time. And this was, at the time, this was the only project that I had on the go. This was WIP number 1 because everything else I had done before I had moved at the time, I had finished and gifted or finished and framed. And so this was my only thing I had on the go. And unfortunately, that didn't last very long. I think maybe less than a year, but anyway, let me just show you without further ado. This is how far I got on it. So I started in this top corner and worked my way down. I think what I did was I started in the middle with the lamppost and some of the trees, and then I worked my way over to the right hand side in the upper corner. And I really wanted to focus on a page because the charts, I mean, all the charts and dimensions kits can be pretty big and bulky, so I just had it folded up to work on one page at a time. So, and then since then, about, I want to say maybe in the last couple of years, I came back again and started working on it. So I made my way over to the top left-hand corner because I find that I actually really like working from the top left all the way over to the right. But anyway, so that's as far as I have on it. And I will say, I absolutely love this kit. But what I didn't realize when I started it was, if you can see in the chart or in the mock-up, there's all of those snowflakes, like all of the little dots of snow are everywhere. And that's not charted. It's just random. So the chart doesn't tell you where to go and put all those little speckles of snow. So I'm not the greatest at aesthetic with like knowing like where should all the little snowflakes go. And I got a little discouraged. So I decided I'm either gonna finish it and not do the snow, and so it will just be a snowy scene. Like, oh, it snowed yesterday, so, and now it's not snowing today, but then that might look odd because the guy he has an umbrella and he's obviously shielding the snow. Or I'm just gonna have to dig in and just like figure out how to put all the snow in. But you know what? That's not a problem for today because I gotta finish it first before I can even think about the snow. So one problem at a time. Finish the thing first. Just finish it. And then I can deal with the snow. So that is my project, very first Dimensions Gold Collection kit, number 1. Moving on to number 2. So now I have the second Gold Dimensions kit that I bought from the same Michael's store, probably about a year, maybe a year. I think it was right before I got married. I wanted to start a different one because, you know, you can't just have one project on the go. Up till then I did, but I got discouraged with the little snowflakes, and I already told you about that. So I went and got another one, and this one is called Promises Kept. So that's this one. 2 by 2 they came is what it says. And I just thought, oh my goodness, so much detail, and I love all the animals, and the rainbow is so fun to stitch. I just, oh, love that one. And of course I had to have it. And back then, what's interesting is they've changed the packaging on Dimensions Gold collections over the years. They used to come in a little like cardboard bag with little rope handles on it, and they would hang them on the shelves like that. And now they come in the plastic cases, or at one point they had them in cardboard with, you know, plastic bags inside, so you'd open up the cardboard outside and there would be a plastic bag. And then they made them so that they come in the plastic folds where everything, you just like pop open the plastic flap and then everything's in there. So they've changed the way they've packaged them over the years. And I just thought it was interesting that they used to sell them in these little bags with little rope handles on them, and you would just open up the bag and it was like a present. It was like a little gift inside. I really like that. Yeah, I'm silly. So this is how far I got on this one. Not very far, but I did get to work in the rainbow, and that was really fun. And I got the zebra done and the squirrels. So I want to get back and work on this. And you'll hear me say that probably through every WIP that I'm going to show you, like, oh, I got to get back and work on that one, because I really do want to get back and work on all of these. I mean, I wouldn't have started it if I didn't want to finish it. I loved it at one point, so I mean, I didn't stop loving it. Maybe I don't love it enough to work on it today, but I still want to finish it. So anyway, that is number 2. All right, so the third Dimensions kit I bought is not a gold collection. It's just a regular Dimensions kit, and it's called Scenic Farm.
There we go. Upside down.
Scenic Farm. Again, I just adore this one, and I don't know why I stopped working on it, other than I think at the time I was packing. I left my apartment I was living in, and my husband and I had moved, and so everything kind of got packed away. So you know what that's like when something gets packed away. It's probably not the first thing to get unpacked, but you can't go that long without stitching something. So I probably went out and got something else to work on, but oh, this is so nice. And it was out of print for a long time, but I did hear in the last couple years, I don't know how recent, but within the last couple of years that there was a high demand to Dimensions to reprint this one, so you can still get this one now. And this one I started in the middle and did what I usually do and work my way to another side, but I started here in the middle and then I worked my way over to the far right, and then I was page completing from the pattern. So that's how far I got. And there's a lot of half stitch, which makes it pretty quick to do the sky. But then in the tree area, I was finding that it's 18 count Aida, and it was like up to 4 or 5 strands on 18 count. It was getting really, really bulky to work on that. But doesn't mean I don't want to finish it. In fact, I pulled this one out in 2021 and worked a little bit on it. I did this house down here, and I did quite a bit up in this area to start filling and working my way down. So, I mean, I'm still picking it up here and there. Once maybe doesn't mean here and there, but I picked it up once last year. But I want to pick it up again. And part of the reason I feel like all of my projects are so much easier to work on now is because I've got them organized. It makes such a difference when you have like all your projects lined up on a shelf where you can just go and look through and go, oh, I want to work on that one today. Because I don't always work on the same one every day. I go through periods where I'm a monogamous stitcher and I'll work on one thing for like 3 weeks. And then I'll decide I want to change, and then I'll find something else and I'll work on that for a day, or I'll work on something else for a day, and then I'll pick up something else for a couple days, and then I'll find something else, and I'll be monogamous on it for like, again, like another 3 weeks or a month or 2 months. So I just work on whatever I want whenever I want to work on it. And I've said this in other videos, I really want to get some finishes this year, and I do. And I've already got 2 smalls done. So I started the year with 76 WIPs and I'm down to 74, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to see how much I can finish this year before I get too tempted to start a new one, which I know will happen because I've already been tempted multiple times. And but as much as I can get done this year, the better. I want to go into 2023 with, I don't know, I don't even want to project how many I want to have in 2023, but I definitely don't want 74 WIPs by the end of the year. So that is number 3. So number 4, the 4th Dimensions Gold Collection kit, or Dimensions kit, because I just showed you the last one was in a gold collection. I'll just call them Dimensions kits now. So my 4th kit that I started is called A Row of Love, and this is what it looks like. I saw this stitched up in a craft store. I don't remember where or which store it was, but I saw it. It was fully finished and framed, and I couldn't begin to tell you how much more beautiful this is in real life than it is on this picture. The threads were shimmering, the pinks and the blues were just vibrant, and again, I just can't even tell you how beautiful it was, and so I had to have it. And at that time, by the time I bought this one, I had kids. I had 2 girls. And they were young, they were, you know, under the age of 5. And I thought this would be so cute to put like somewhere in the hallway between their bedrooms, or maybe one of them would like to have it in their room. Oh, the dreams we dream, right? As stitchers, when we start things and we have plans for them, and the plans just don't always work out. You know, I didn't get it done, but maybe someday one of them will want it when I finally do get it finished. But if not, I am more than happy to frame it and put it on my wall, because I love teddy bears, and I love girly things. I love like princesses and teddy bears and just dragons and castles and fantasy. I love all of the things. I love Victorian era and Elizabethan era and all the history of women in fancy dresses. And anyway, it will look fine on my wall if no one else wants it. Getting back to topic at hand, this is as far as I got. just starting on the border, around the outside border, and I'll show this again to kind of give you an idea of. So it's just that outside border up in the top left corner. And there's a lot of half stitch in there, which is common with Dimensions Gold Collection kits. There's the background is a lot of half stitch with varying numbers of threads. And I'm already loving the colors. I mean, look at the pinks and the bluey purples, like, oh, just love it. So this will get done. It will, like all of them, you know, I say I'm gonna get it done. I wanna get it done. So that is my WIP number 4. All right, WIP number 5 is a Dimensions Gold Collection kit, and it's called Teddy Bear Gathering. So because you can't just have one Teddy Bear Gold Dimensions kit. You get one Teddy Bear kit, you've got to get them all, right? So I found this one not long after I found the first one, or the last one I just showed you. So this is Teddy Bear Gathering. And this one's got even more teddy bears than the last one I showed you. But I love that pattern in the background for the quilt. It's like a bear claw, isn't it? Isn't that a bear claw quilt? There's a name for it, and I'm probably not saying what it is correctly, but I have very limited quilting experience. I made quilts for each of my kids, and my mom helped me. I did the top. I sewed the top together, and then my mom helped me hand quilt them. So we both did some of the hand quilting. So it was really an effort of a love projects from both of my girls. So they each have a quilt that was made by both me and their grandmother. So I love that. But anyway, that pattern in the quilt in here I'm like, oh, that's the bear claw. And of course you got all the little teddy bears. So I started that one. Didn't get very far on this one. Started up in that corner. Is that even the right corner? I better check. Yeah, it is. Okay. That's the top left-hand corner. Just starting on the quilt. And again, didn't get very far. Well, that's all right. I really like this one. It's very colorful. I don't have a lot to say about this one because I didn't get very far on it. And there's not a big story behind why I bought it other than it's teddy bears and it's really cute. So that's number 5. All right, Dimensions kit number 6 is a gold collection kit. And this one's called A Treasured Time. I think probably most people who are familiar with Dimensions have seen this at one time or another. I think this is probably one of the most detailed designs that I had ever seen up to the point that I bought this one. I think there have been some since that I've seen with more detail, or at least as much detail, but this one to me just, wow. If I could do this one, man, I would be an expert stitcher. I guess that's what I was thinking at the time. And this is, by the time I got this kit, it was early 2000s, so probably around 2003, 2004 is what I'm thinking. And I just, look at that house. Oh, why won't it focus? Oh, please focus. Anyway, I love it. And the skaters. So, and of course, every time I buy a brand new kit, I'm starting it right away. But I didn't get very far with this one either. Because I started it in the winter, and by the time it got to probably the other side of Christmas after I bought it, I just wasn't interested in stitching winter themed stuff anymore. So, and the needle is even still in it, which I don't usually do that, but anyway, the needle's still in it. So that's as far as I got on that one. So that's number 6. Dimensions kit number 7, and you're gonna see a theme here because these next few are all Christmas related or winter related. I tend to like winter and Christmas related projects, probably because I do a lot more stitching, or I used to do a lot more stitching in the winter time, and then in the summer months I'm outside and, you know, just doing other things outside. But I do tend to do a lot more stitching in the winter. And so this one is Christmas Village Ornaments, and it's a gold collection. and it's a set of 6 winter / Christmas themed ornaments. I mean, those are really pretty. I think those are really pretty. And of course it was probably a winter start, so once I got past winter I didn't get very far, but I started on this one up in the top left corner, the blue house with the snowman and the children. That's the one that I started first, and that's as far. I haven't even finished the first one. I didn't even get that far, so that's as far as I got. Just working in columns. I started along the top and then I started working in columns on the pattern. That was the first time I had ever tried working in columns to try and do a finish. I was trying to decide if it was easier to do rows of columns of 10 at a time, and I do that on full coverage a lot, but I hadn't done that on the Dimensions Gold Collection kits before, and I probably wouldn't. I don't think that the Dimensions Gold Collection lends itself to working in columns, at least not this particular one, but there might be others. So that's number 7. Dimensions kit number 8 is the famous Santa stamp that I don't think you can get anymore. I think it at one point was highly coveted. I bought it when it was still in Michael's, so this was like 20 years ago, early 2000s. I bought it when it was still available in Michael's, and I didn't start this one right away because I think I got it at the end of Christmas season. I might have even gotten it on sale, which is crazy now because you can't get it at all. But I did get this one, and since then I'm really, really glad that I picked it up. So I think I didn't start on this one for a couple of years. I had it in my collection, but I never started it. But when I did finally start it, I started up in the top left-hand corner, like I usually do. And that's where I got to. Just the edge of the stamp and a start on the greetings, the words. It's really pretty. It's such a colorful design. I think it's going to be really, you know, when I get down into working on like Santa's jacket and working on the toys in his bag, it's so pretty. It's going to be fun to work on this one. I like working on colorful things like the teddy bears and the Santas and Christmas stuff. It's just, I just love it. So that is, was that number 8 or number 7? I guess that's number 8. Oh, I'll count again and catch you up on the next one. Number 9 is a regular Dimensions kit, and it's called Freedom Eagle. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I absolutely love the design, and it was a gift from someone very special who knows that I love cross stitch and who also knows that I'm patriotic. And as much as I love the design, the background here it's part of the fabric, so it's not actually stitched. And this is also a no count cross stitch, not a counted cross stitch, which means that it's more like a paint by numbers, and I'll show you what I mean. And you've probably seen these before, but part of the fabric comes with the background, and you end up with these areas of color where you fill in. There's a chart, there is a chart that comes with it, and it tells you what color to put in which section of the area, but I'm not really enjoying it very much. I did some of, I got a start on it, mainly because I was so thankful to the person who was thoughtful and gave it to me, because they really, they knew how much I loved cross stitch, and it just meant a lot. And I wanted them to know that I care, you know, that like, hey, I want to get a start on the project and I can, you know, see how it goes. I thought I'll just give it a try. Maybe I'll actually enjoy it. But I don't know. It's just not my favorite way to stitch, because you get all these little fractionals in here. It's like, what do you do with 1/8 of a square? Do you do a little bit of one color, or do you just do the whole block? And I'm afraid that the results maybe won't turn out quite as nicely as the cover. And I've already told you, I'm not good with trying to modify or alter patterns, you know, like the one with the snow. I'm not gonna know where to put all the little snowflakes. And so it's making my head hurt trying to think about how I'm going to make this look the way it's meant to look. So I put it down and I really haven't worked on it again. As with all my WIPs, I really do want to finish everything I've started, but this won't be one that I finish anytime soon, and I probably won't pick it up. In fact, if there was ever going to be a UFO, an unfinished object, if I put any of my projects as a UFO, it would be this one. But not yet. Not doing that to any of my projects just yet. I'm going to see where we go in 2022 and then evaluate where we're at the end of the year. So that's number 9. All right. Project number 10 is a regular dimensions kit, and it's called Winter Cardinals. And I love cardinals. I love birds. My husband's an avid bird watcher. He's got a whole village of bird feeders. He feeds them all year round, in the winter and in the summer. He's got bird baths. It's like a little bird oasis in our backyard. But because of where we live here in the Midwest, we have beautiful, beautiful cardinals. And in the winter, if it's snowing and they're on the backdrop of snow, they're just gorgeous. So he actually got me this kit for Christmas. And I forget what year. It's probably around, I'm thinking it was around 2007 or 2008, because I know my kids were just a little bit older by then, by the time I got this one. And so I started it right away. Of course I did. They're cardinals. I started it right away. And I started up in the top left-hand corner, as is my preference. And yeah, I didn't get very far. And what I realized was it was a combination of things. Part of it is, when I started it, I'm really not a fan of working with white at all, which is kind of odd to me because I have other projects that have a lot of white in them. But this is white half stitch with multiple strands of thread. So I don't know. I put it away at the time thinking, well, maybe I'll pull it out again in the future and work on it. And then I pulled it out again about 2 years ago. I know it wasn't in 2021. I think it was right around the beginning of the pandemic. And I pulled it out again and I started working on it. And I got a little bit more done in here. And I thought to myself, oh, this is why I don't like working on this one. And I couldn't just pinpoint, what is it? What is it about it that I don't like working on? But I don't know. I think the design's beautiful. I'm glad it's not white on white, because that would be even worse. I don't like white on white. And on my current Mirabilia, the Roses of Provence is just like, her dress is crazy white, crazy amounts of white. But for whatever reason, I don't mind working on it. Maybe because I'm doing it on linen, maybe because it's not, I don't know. I'm not sure. But this is another one, of course. Like I've said with all of them. I told you I would say with all of them that I really want to get this one out and work on it. Because I do. Can't we just work on all of our projects every day, all at the same time? Why can't we do that? That would be so nice. But anyway, this is number 10. All right, project number 11. I think we're at 11, right? Okay, project number 11. Oh, this one I just love. I love. It's Thunder Ridge. Oh my gosh, the horses. And the background sky, like there's a storm and they're just racing across the night times. Oh my gosh, as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, I've got to have that. Like everything, but this one in particular, I thought this one out of all of my kits that I've shown you so far would fit with the theme of our decorating in our house, because we really like nature, we like horses, and not just horses, but like just Southwest and animals. And this one, when this is done, this will hang in a very prominent part of our house because it goes with everything that we have. And I started it in the middle. So you can see, I need to put something behind. See if I can get something behind there. This won't be great, but hopefully it'll help a little bit. All right, so I started it in the middle, and this is another one I started working in a column. And I think at the time it was because this is navy Aida. It's navy, it's dark. And like so many of you I know, when we have to work on darker Aida, it's so much harder to see the holes. So I thought, let me just start working on it and see if I can just do it in a column. Maybe that will be helpful. And it really wasn't. It's just really dark fabric. And my eyes were really bad at the time. I'm not going to get into a big long story, but for about 3 or 4 years, I had some issues with my eyes. In fact, there was that period of 3 or 4 years that I didn't stitch at all. I almost got rid of all of my cross stitch because medical and optical specialists weren't able to help me figure out what was wrong, and I couldn't see enough to read a book. I couldn't see well enough to do my cross stitch. And anyway, this is a longer story. I hadn't meant to get into all the details, but needless to say, we finally figured out what it was, and it turned out to be some allergies, like not just allergies like in nature, but it was actually like something that was affecting my vision. Not going to get into the story, but anyway, once we figured that out, I haven't had any issues since. But I almost got rid of my entire cross stitch collection, like all of my patterns, all of my fabric. I was destroyed, thinking I might never get to stitch again. This might be my life. I could squint well enough to see my laptop computer, and I like plussed up where you zoom in and everything, you know, you make your screen so that it's like giant for, you know, when you can't see. I could see well enough to work and my eyes were so fatigued at the end of the day, there was no way I would even attempt to do cross stitch or reading or anything of that. But anyway, once we got it figured out and I could see again, I was so glad I hung on to it. Like, I can't imagine starting my collection over again. I would have lost everything I had done in all those years. So anyway, really glad I got back into it. Sorry, that was a longer story than I planned, and I'm sorry. This is supposed to be about the projects. So once I did pull it out again, within the last, I want to say probably in the last 3 years, I pulled it out again. And I worked my way across the top, and I started up in the top left corner and just started kind of fanning across and working my way down. And that's as far as I got. But can you imagine? This is like, oh, just so in love with this one. So this one will always be special to me because it was the first one that I worked on after I got my issue resolved, where I got my vision back. And I can't even tell you, I was almost crying working on this. I was so happy that I could actually work on cross stitch again after, you know, thinking I might never work on cross stitch. It was my passion since I was like 6 or 7 years old. It's always been a part of my life throughout all of my school years and university, college, it was a part of my life. So this one will always be very meaningful to me, whether I finish it or I don't. And I really want to finish this one and hang it on my wall because I'll be able to look at it and see it and say that's the one that reinvigorated my passion and appreciation for being able to cross stitch. So, because there might get another point in my life, you never know. We never know how long we have. We never know how long we'll have the dexterity in our hands and our vision to be able to work on this. And I don't ever want to forget that I'm really, really, truly blessed to be able to do this hobby. So anyway, I'm gonna start crying. Anyway, that's number 12, isn't it? Is that number 12? I've talked so much I can't remember, but anyway. All right, this is number 12. It's a Dimensions Gold Collection kit, and it's called Lost No More. I know there are several FlossTubers who either were working on this and have finished, or they're still working on it as a stitch along. Pretty sure that the Highway Stitcher was working on this one, as was Brenda from I can't remember, but I'll put it on the screen if I can find the name of her channel. And they were working this as a 30 minutes a day project. So 30 minutes a day, whether it's in the morning or whenever, they were working on this one and slowly making some progress. And I haven't seen where they're at right now in terms of finishing this one. I'm not quite sure how far they are. I haven't seen it on their channel in a while. I might have missed their finish. They might have finished and I missed it. But this one I started in the top right corner, which is unusual because I usually start on the top left. But this one I started and only had about maybe a square inch, maybe a square inch and a half done in that top right corner, and then I put it away. And that was back in around 2008, 2009. So in 2021, I pulled it back out again and I started working on it, and that's how far I got the rest of it. So all I had was a little bit of brown and black in the top, and now I've got, you know, a decent start. It's not a lot, but that's the thing. If you pull it out and work on it for a couple days at a time, it's amazing how much progress you can get. Even if you just don't stitch monogamously, you can still get a lot done. And over time, you'll eventually get it done. I mean, it's just a little bit every day, a little bit at a time, 1x at a time, right? So that's number 12. This is number 12, not the last one. I got confused on the last one. So this is number 13. And starting with this kit, this is when I finally found FlossTube. And then I started seeing all the beautiful kits that other people were working on. And then I started buying more. So this one, I forget the name. Lilacs and Chickadees. Actually, I don't forget the name. It's called Lilacs and Chickadees. And I saw Cross Stitch with Luda's channel. She was doing a parade of all of her kits she's collected. And at the time that she was doing that, she hadn't started this one. I don't think she has since started it either, but she has it in her collection. And when she showed it, and it's the birds, it's the little chickadees, and it's beautiful, beautiful purples and blues and the lilacs. I mean, they're just gorgeous, right? But look at the backstitch. Like, all of those little petals are all backstitched. So this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work in this one. But as soon as I saw it, I ordered it. I got it. I went online, I found it, I ordered it, and it came, and I started it. And this would have been pretty recent. I didn't buy any gold collection kits for quite a while. I might have bought a few, and they're in my collection that I haven't started yet. I'll do a video on that someday too, but this one, as soon as I bought it, I started it. And I actually got through a decent amount. I mean, it's not even half done yet. It's not by far that complete, but I did get quite a bit done. I think this was a pretty good amount. You know, I stitched on it monogamously from the time that I got it until I got this far. So I finished the whole band across the top. I didn't get any of the back stitch done yet, but it still looks pretty good even without the back stitch, I think. So I'm just imagining how beautiful it will be once I get it back stitched. But my thought here was, there's a ton of back stitching. I should do it as I go. But then I just wanted to keep stitching. I wanted to keep doing the X's, and I didn't want to do any back stitch yet. It's like, no, I just want to do all the pretty colors. So that's what I did. So that's as far as I got. Again, I really like this one. So, of course I do. I like them all. So, anyway. So, number 14 is another Dimensions Gold collection kit. And this one I don't have a cover photo because I ended up finding it on eBay, and it wasn't open. It was still sealed in the plastic bag that everything came in, but it didn't have that outer container, the cardboard packaging. It was gone. So there was no cover photo on it. So all I found on the listing was, it was called Finery of Nature. And I'll put a picture in here because I want you to see what it looks like when it's done. It's amazing. Another bird one, another bird pattern. And this is another one I saw Cross Stitch with Luda had worked on, and she finished hers, and it just beautiful. So I had to have it, and I bought it, and I had been looking for this one for a while because I think it's out of print, and it might be back in print now. I really don't know for sure. Maybe just in Russia. Again, I'm not quite sure, but I did find it. I put in one of those searches in eBay where I typed in Finery of Nature dimensions, and I saved my search so that if it found it, it would let me know. And one day I opened my phone and there was a notification that said Finery of Nature. And I thought, oh, I gotta go check that out. Because sometimes Finery of Nature, you end up with like pottery or, you know, other types of artwork or something. But this one, it was this. And there was no picture, but I just knew that it said Dimensions Finery of Nature. And they had a picture of the packet of materials with the threads. So I got it. And this is how far I got. Isn't that beautiful? And I don't have any back stitching done yet, but oh my gosh. This one on the black fabric, oh, it just pops. So this one, I love working on this one. I pull it out quite a bit actually. I only do like, I'll just pull it out and do one thread or two threads and then I'll put it away. And then, cause it is hard to work on the darker fabrics. I kind of have to be in the mood to work on, you know, black or navy Ada or linen or Lugana. I just have to be in the right frame of mind. You know what that's like. So that's number 14. Number 15 is a Gold Collection Petite. So this isn't the full size. It's from their Petite Collection. And this one's called Ornate Butterfly. And this one, again, was one that I saw on Cross Stitch with Luda's channel that she had finished and had framed and looked amazing. So you can imagine, I just was binge watching Cross Stitch with Luda's channel, watching all her videos and seeing all the beautiful work that she did. So that's, oh, this is so beautiful. And it has all kinds of gold cording and thread in it that just, it shimmers when it's done. The picture doesn't do it justice at all. So this one is still in a little Q-snap because I didn't get very far with it. It was my travel piece for a while. I was taking it to work and I was working on it on my lunch hours. And this was right before COVID. So right up until 2020, March of 2020, I had just started it. And I was taking it and working on it when I could. Sometimes I could only get a thread or two done on my lunch. So again, I just didn't get very far with it. And then the next thing you know, I'm working from home and lunch breaks got fewer and far between because, you know, when you're living and breathing and doing everything from home, you don't take the time for lunch, or you don't take a break, or you don't get up from your chair and you realize, oh my, I've been sitting for 8 hours straight. I need to go take a break or get something to eat or make some more coffee. So anyway, this one got put by the wayside, but I do want to pull it out again as a travel piece because eventually we're going to end up going back to work. So this one will again become my piece that I take when I go to work, and I'll just pull it out and work on it at lunchtime. So I'm leaving it in the Q-snap because I'm not giving up on this one. Not giving up on one day having life back to normal when everything just feels just a little less weird. And I don't think we're there yet. I'm not there yet. When I'm home more than I'm out, that's not normal. So anyway, that's number 15. All right, number 16. This is the last three. There's only 18. So 16, 17, 18 are all we have left. So this one's called Balloon Glow. And I started this one in 2019. And this is a big one. It doesn't look that big. You know, sometimes the preview pictures are deceiving. This is a really big design. When it's finished, let me see if I can, it's gonna be 16 by 12. I guess maybe that's not that big. But I don't know, compared to some of the other Gold Dimensions kits that I have, this one is on the bigger side. But again, it's right up my alley. It's colorful, it's scenic. The sky is just amazing with the purples and the blues. Like, yeah, I love projects that are colorful. And I started it, and this is how far I got. I started doing diagonal stitching with this one, thinking, well, even though it's a Gold Dimensions kit, and I love doing, at the time, I was loving doing diagonal stitching on my full coverage, which I have since decided is not for me. It's very slow. I find diagonal stitching is very slow. And while I do agree that the stitches look a lot nicer and neater, I don't like going that slow. I don't think this looks bad. Like in this area that I've done in here where it's not diagonal, I don't think the stitches really look that bad. So I know that everyone has their own opinion on what looks the best and how they love to stitch, but for me, I prefer to just work on however I want to work on it, whenever I want, and however. And one day I might feel like diagonal stitching, and another day I might feel like just cross country or extreme cross country or column stitching or typewriter stitching or all of the things. I know there's so many different ways of stitching, and I've tried them all. Some people just do a page at a time. I kind of like that. It narrows down my focus, and sometimes I'll just do cross country on one page, or I don't know. And again, it changes. Like every day I want to do something different. I'll probably pull this back out again and go, oh, I started doing the cross or the diagonal stitching. Maybe I'll just keep doing that, and I might. So anyway, that's number 16. So here's number 17, Dimensions Gold Collection Kit. And this one is very, very special to me because it was a gift for Christmas from my youngest daughter, who knows I love nature, and it was a very, very thoughtful gift. This is the one that she got for me. It's called Winter Retreat. She knows I love birds. She knows I love geese. She knows I love winter. She knows I love snow. So this was the perfect design for her to get for me. And I mean, she's a sweetie. So that's Winter Retreat. And I started it right away on Christmas Day, the year that she gave it to me. That was Christmas of 2019. So yeah, right before 2020, right before we went into the pandemic. So Christmas of 2019. And I worked on it at Christmas and then into the beginning of the year in 2020. And that's how far I got. I started off here with the goose because I wanted to start with something fun. I didn't want to start with the border or the background. I wanted to get right into the good stuff. So I got him done. He's not backstitched yet. I say him, I don't know, him or her. I don't know. Anyway, and then I moved and I counted my way over and I started down at the bottom and kind of I worked from about here, I worked down to the bottom. So that's the bottom of the design. And they really don't give a lot of margins in these kits, but that's not actually too bad. I can work with that. I was kind of surprised that there was a little more margin than some of the older kits that I have. And then so after I worked my way down, I started working my way up, and now I'm gonna try and get up to the very top of the design, and then start working my way over toward the right. So anyway, that's a favorite for sure. And that's number 17. And I only have one left. All right. And the last one that I have started is another gold collection, and it's called Sweet Nectar. This is another one that was, and I think still is, out of print. And this is another one that I found on eBay that did not have an outer wrapper. It had a picture on the listing of the design. Kind of, it was basically that outer shell where it said the name of the pattern and all the colors, where it gives you a listing of all your different colors that are included in the kit. So I could see that the name of it was called Sweet Nectar, and I could see that it was a cross stitch kit and it had the threads, and it said it was unopened. And so when I got it, and this was another one I had set up on an eBay alert so that, you know, I would, as soon as something came up that said Sweet Nectar, it would pop up and tell me. Now you've got to be careful with this one, because I've seen this one come through as a kit, but it's not from Dimensions. Like there's another company or another person or individual or someone or some group that is producing this, not under the Dimensions name, but it's the same design. And I don't know if it's legitimate or not. So just be careful. I got this one, and it's a Lena Lou pattern. She's very, very popular with hummingbirds. Did I show it to you yet? Sorry if I haven't showed it to you yet. Should have showed it to you. But so this is Oh, let me take it out of the pattern. I actually, the reason I'm telling you that there was no cover photo is because this is a photocopy and I printed it from the internet, but I wanted you to know that it is legitimate. So this is Sweet Nectar, and all of the materials in the kit that I got it was unopened, and they all say dimensions, and it's a legitimate kit. So it wasn't one of the ones that's being produced that is not legitimate. I don't know. Maybe there is licensing for that other group to do it, but it just looked a little suspicious to me. So I saw a few pop up on eBay when I had my Sweet Nectar search out there, and I just didn't. It's like, nope, not gonna take a chance on it if I don't know for sure that it's legitimate dimensions. So anyway, isn't it beautiful though? And there's gold thread. There's gold cording all the way around the outside. I saw that Cross Stitch with Luda had done this one too, and she finished it, and it looks amazing. So I waited for this one for a while. It was probably about 18 months, and as soon as I saw it pop up, even though it didn't have a cover photo, I could see in the picture it said dimensions on it, and it had all of the same markings. Everything looked like dimensions. So I went ahead and I got it, and I started it right away, and that's how far I got. So I'm working on that inner circle with the hummingbirds, and that's the first part that I'm going to do, and then I'll come back later after I've done the inner circle. When I say inner circle, I'm referring to the inner circle, and then like this being the outer circle. Once I finish the inside, I'll come back and do the outside. The outside is where all the gold thread is stitched, and it's gonna look so pretty. So another one with like my favorite themes. It's got birds, hummingbirds, it's got flowers, it's colorful. And even though I told you before that my husband has a bird oasis in the backyard, of all of the birds, I'm more the hummingbird person. So I mix up all the hummingbird food, and I kind of maintain all of our hummingbird feeders, and he does all of the other feeders, and I kind of manage the hummingbirds. So it's a joint effort. But oh, I love this one. And there's no back stitching yet, and it's still, look how, I mean, it looks so good even without the back stitching so far. So that's it. That's it. That's all 18 that I've started. And like I said, I've got a bunch more that I haven't started yet, but maybe I'll save that for another video where I can show you all of my unstarted kits. Like not just the dimensions, but I've got a few other kits that are not dimensions. They're the Bucilla and some of the other producers of kits, and I'll show those ones to you too. So that's it. I think that's it. There's only one last thing I was going to do, and I was going to show you one of my completed dimensions kits. Actually, I have two. I'll show you two. One of them is framed, and it's right up here. You can, pointing is not my thing. This one is, it's a Petite Collection, Gold's Dimensions Petite. So it's not the full-size one, it's a small one. I'll grab it. All right. So it's, I don't remember the name of it, and there is a bit of a glare. I apologize. I'll try not to have a glare. I made this one for my husband because he likes nature and snowmen, and he's like me. We both like winter, and we both love animals, and we both love snowmen. I think I like snowmen a little more than he does, but anyway, I don't remember the name of it. If I can find the name of it, I'll put it on the screen. But this one I finished in 2005. And I didn't get it framed right away. I actually didn't get it framed until around 2008. But yeah, really, really like this one. And I can't find an angle without a glare, I'm sorry. I remember what I was watching when I finished this one. It was, I put my final stitches in this one when I was watching the movie Last of the Mohicans, the 1992 version with Daniel Day-Lewis. And it's so funny that every piece I stitch has memories stitched into it. Like I remember just something as simple as what movie I was watching or what I was doing, you know, when I put my last stitches in, where I was sitting, and, you know, we were in a different house at the time, and I remember being there, and it's every piece you finish or every piece you work on has your life memories sewn into it. So this is definitely one of my favorite finishes. And I haven't kept a lot of finishes over the years. I've given quite a few away as gifts. And I don't regret that. I'm really, really glad that I gave all of the things that I put so much love and time into to others to enjoy. But there's that side, you know, there's a part of me that's kind of wish that I had saved more and that I have more on my wall, but that's all right. I have lots of projects that I can finish and hang up my wall. I do tend to stitch now more for me. Up until maybe 5 or 6 years ago, all of my stitching was for other people. And then I made a decision that going forward, I'm going to focus on making stitching just for me. So that's what I'm doing now. My finishes are going to be for me right now. Not forever, but for now. For now, I want my finishes to be on my wall. So that's this one. All right, I will show you just one more and then I'm done. I'll let you go. If you've made it this far, maybe you haven't made it this far, and that's okay too. But this is a Dimensions Gold Collection kit. No, it's not Gold Collection. It's just a Dimensions, a regular kit. And this is the one. And I finished this one in 2019. And I'll put the name of it at the bottom of the screen because I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but this is a favorite. I enjoyed it. It has the little dog and the puppies. It's got the little cows in the background with the barn. And the truck was really fun to stitch. Even the tree, you know, it looks like it's very confetti heavy, but it really wasn't that bad at all. It was really, really fun to stitch. And then it's, of course, got my favorite, the Cardinals. So this one, I haven't figured out when or what I'm gonna frame it. I didn't do it on the kit fabric. It came with Ada, and I ended up buying some even weave, 28 count even weave, and I decided to stitch it on that instead. And I'm glad that I did, although it was really challenging because something with this fabric, I don't know what, it was shredding my thread. Like I had to start shortening my threads in terms of like how long I would start with my thread, because by the time I would get halfway through, if I use a normal length of thread that I like, I would get halfway through it and it would just be shredded. Like, you know, like the thread would just be broken. So I don't know if it's something with this fabric in particular. I've never had that happen before. Maybe the threads were old, maybe the fabric is old, I don't know. But, and it is a little bit rough, like when I touch it. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not as soft as other fabrics I've used. But anyway, I carried on and I got it done, and I worked on it really hard. I started it in 2018 in September, and I finished it in February of 2019. I monogamously stitched this one until it was done. So that's a reminder too. That's a reminder to me that it's like I have all these projects that I haven't finished, but I can finish something, and I have, and I proved to myself like this one's gonna get done, and it did. So it gave me some confidence. It gave me confidence like I'm not doing this for nothing. Like I actually can do some stuff. I can knock out some of these projects and focus on them. So all right, now I'm done, and I want to thank you again for watching and subscribing if you decide to subscribe. And this is fun. I'm really enjoying making videos. It's really nice to have a way to share what I work on, because I don't have any friends in person who do stitching. I have some really special stitching friends now that I'm starting to meet just because I've started reaching out. I used to be a really kind of a backseat FlossTube watcher, but now I'm starting to interact with people a little bit more, and I'm enjoying it. And like people don't understand, except like you guys understand, but other people don't understand, like when you say, oh, I love this one, oh, I love this one, and they say, well, how many are you working on? And you say, I have 74 WIPs right now. And they're like, how can you work on that many all at one time? Like, that's crazy. Like, you must not really like any of them or you'd finish them. But that's not true. And you guys know that. When you have multiple WIPs, you love all of them. The problem is you can't stitch on all of them all the time. And you want to work on all of them, but you can't. So people just don't understand. But you guys understand. And I think that's been really, really wonderful for me to start doing my videos and just having an outlet to share my passion. I don't need to keep it all to myself. I want to meet more stitchers and see what you guys are working on. I love watching FlossTube. Every day I watch videos on FlossTube. So I'm gonna leave it there because I've been really chatty today, and thank you again for watching, and I hope you'll tune in to future videos that I do, and have a wonderful day and have fun stitching. Bye.